Senator Cheese Escudero, former Senator Bong Revilla, and Makati Mayor Nancy Binay denied the allegations by former Department of Public Works and Highways Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo that linked them to anomalous infrastructure deals. In a statement on Thursday, September 25, Escudero describes the claims against him as part of a well-orchestrated attempt to discredit the Senate. Escudero says that Bernardo himself admitted in his affidavit that they never had any direct contact. According to Escudero, he will pursue legal action against Bernardo. He also calls Bernardo's testimony as unbelievable for supposedly only including senators. During Thursday's Blue Ribbon panel hearing, Bernardo also named Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldico in his testimony. In the same hearing, Bernardo admitted to being close friends with one of Escudero's campaign contributors, businessman Maynard Ngu, whom he said was among the individuals he dealt with. Bernardo claimed he agreed to a 20% cut with Ngu in exchange for a list of projects for inclusion in the General Appropriations Act. Meanwhile, Binay says there's no truth in the accusations against her. She adds that she was surprised at being used to supposedly divert attention from those who should truly be held accountable. Bernardo said a close aide of Binay, whom he identified as Carlene Villa, arranged a deal with him seeking a 15% cut in exchange for government projects. He then claimed the 15% cut amounting to 37 million pesos was later delivered to Binay in her supposed residence in Quezon City. In a statement released by Divina Law, Revilla says Bernardo's assertions are untrue, adding that he is prepared to cooperate with any official inquiry. Revilla's camp says he will not allow what they describe as sinister forces to use his name. Bernardo also tagged Education Undersecretary Taregiv Olaivar to anomalous government projects. For his part, Olaivar denies the allegations against him, adding that he welcomes any investigation regarding the matter. He says he will voluntarily take a leave of absence from his post to allow a fair inquiry. According to Bernardo, Olaivar previously worked for former Senator Bong Revilla, then moved to the office of then Senator Sonny Angara, now the Education Secretary. Bernardo told senators that Olaivar had personally called him for a meeting to discuss unprogrammed funds under the office of the Executive Secretary. Olaivar had supposedly requested that he submit a list of projects. The list of projects submitted by former DPWH Bulacan 1st District Engineer Henry Alcantara was valued at 2.85 billion pesos. Bernardo told the Senate panel that he and Olaivar had agreed to a 15% cut and that this was delivered to the latter. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin likewise denies the allegation regarding the delivery of 15% commitment supposedly for the office of the Executive Secretary. Leyte 1st District Representative Martin Romualdez disputes allegations that he received money from infrastructure projects. During the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing on Thursday, September 25, a certain Orly Regala Gutesa stated that he had delivered money to the home of Romualdez, which was allegedly intended as kickbacks from government projects. Gutesa is supposedly Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldico's former security staffer. Gutesa said he was assigned to carry and deliver piles of money to certain locations, including Romualdez's home in McKinley Street, Taguig City. In a statement, Romualdez calls the testimony by Senator Rodante Marcoleto's witness a desperate attempt to link the former House Speaker to the controversy. He says the most telling flaw in the testimony was that the money was supposedly delivered to his Taguig home in December 2024. But Romualdez says such a thing is impossible because the home has been under rehabilitation since January 2024 and remains unoccupied. According to Romualdez, he will not let such political attacks and testimonies supposedly born out of coaching pass unchallenged. He reiterates that he never received or benefited from kickbacks in any infrastructure project. Romualdez was one of the lawmakers named by contractor couple Curly and Sara Discaya of allegedly receiving kickbacks from government projects. Romualdez called the Discaya couple's claim as false, malicious, and nothing more than name-dropping. In the House, Romualdez stepped down from his post on September 17 to allow an independent commission to probe into his alleged involvement. Department of Public Works and Highways Secretary Vince Dizon curses at DPWH Davao Occidental District Engineer Rodrigo Larete after the Secretary inspected a ghost flood control project in the area. Dizon, an Independent Commission for Infrastructure Special Advisor Benji Magalong, conducted on Thursday, September 25, an inspection on the 96.5 million peso flood control project in Jose Abad Santos, Davao Occidental. According to Dizon, the project was awarded to the Discaya-owned St. Timothy Construction Company in January 2022. The DPWH district then paid St. Timothy Construction in full after the contractor promised to complete the project afterward. The Sumbong sa Pangulo website shows that it was completed and fully paid for in 2022. But at the actual site, Dizon and Magalong found the project did not exist. Based on nearby residents' accounts, Magalong says the construction for the project actually started only 3 weeks ago. Dizon reiterates that he will remove all executives in the DPWH who are involved in the anomalous flood control projects.
Hindi ka na naawa dun sa mga estudyante dyan, saka yung mga tao dito. Hindi mo ba sila iniisip? Nagbayad ng hindi complete.
Dizon also urges DPWH district engineers and regional directors to acknowledge their involvement in substandard or ghost flood control projects, as being caught by the ICI is inevitable. President Bongbong Marcos created the ICI as the fact-finding body looking into the massive corruption in public infrastructure projects. He previously emphasized that no one will be spared in the investigations. President Bongbong Marcos describes as unfortunate the Philippines and China's lack of significant progress on issues concerning the West Philippine Sea. He makes the remark during the farewell call of outgoing Chinese ambassador to the Philippines Huang Shilian at Malacanang on Thursday, September 25. Huang has served as the Chinese ambassador to the Philippines since December 2019. Marcos thanks the Chinese envoy for his service despite the difficulties that arose due to the maritime row between the Philippines and China.
We miss you. You have, I think you have made very good second home already here in Manila. Yes. And it's unfortunate we didn't make much more progress on the difficulties that we have in the South China Sea, West Philippine Sea.
The West Philippine Sea is part of the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. However, Philippine sovereignty over the area remains under threat as China continues to assert control over several features in the West Philippine Sea. This is despite the 2016 international arbitral ruling that invalidated China's sweeping claims in the South China Sea. The arbitral award likewise recognized the Philippines' rights to the West Philippine Sea. The Department of Justice confirms that 2 criminal complaint affidavits were filed before the National Prosecution Service against Marikina 1st District Representative Marcy Teodoro. In a statement, DOJ spokesperson Mico Clavano says the complaints were for alleged violations of the revised penal code. One of the complaints is for acts of lasciviousness, while the other is rape by sexual assault and acts of lasciviousness. Following the DOJ's statement, the Marikina police also affirmed that 2 female police officers filed criminal complaints against Teodoro. It adds that the officers have already been reassigned to the Philippine National Police's national headquarters at Camp Crame in Quezon City for their safety and well-being. The 2 female police officers were assigned as Teodoro's close-in security at different times. Clavano assures the public that the lawmaker will be afforded full due process, while the identities of the complainants are being withheld to protect their privacy and security. The DOJ says the cases will undergo case build-up and legal evaluation to determine the sufficiency of evidence before any preliminary investigation. Meanwhile, Teodoro says the accusations contained in the complaints against him are fabricated and meant to destroy his reputation. The lawmaker believes the charges are politically motivated and orchestrated attacks. Teodoro stresses that mere allegations cannot constitute formal evidence. Teodoro has been involved in some controversies recently. Last September 8, contractor couple Curly and Sara Descaya named several House of Representatives lawmakers, including Teodoro, as among those who asked for a certain percentage of funds from projects. However, Teodoro disputed the allegation, calling it a demolition job after he exposed issues with the 2026 national budget. House Deputy Speaker Ronaldo Puna previously cited Teodoro as saying there were problems in the 2026 National Expenditure Program, adding that already completed projects still received allocations.